Welcome back. A high-profile legal fight between two of New Zealand's most recognised companies is nearing a verdict. Food producer Talley's has taken TVNZ and reporter Thomas Mead to court. They claim defamation for reporting between 2021 and 2022. In its closing arguments, TVNZ said a guilty verdict would set a dangerous precedent for journalism in New Zealand. Greg Treadwell is Senior Journalism Lecturer at AUT. Greg, good morning. Is that a bit over the top? Do you think, if there was a guilty verdict, it would have a chilling effect?
Yes, I really do, Ryan. Good morning. Obviously, the court's there to decide the issues. I'm certainly not suggesting what the verdict should be. But if there was a guilty verdict for TVNZ, then that would have ramifications through New Zealand's newsrooms. It would certainly make editors sit up a little. There's no doubt in my mind that the New Zealand media is watching this case with great interest. It's a very unusual case, of course, given that a large conglomerate corporation is taking on the state broadcaster and individually its reporter responsible for the stories that the company claims were defamatory.
Yeah, it's really rare because normally the PR advice, at least, is don't go near it because you just relitigate everything, and people probably might not have even seen the original stories, but there you are relitigating and it's throwing it all up in the news again.
Yeah, that's a choice that Talley's has made, obviously. But defamation cases are notoriously hard to win. So often they don't end up in court, and there are settlements outside court to keep people happy and stop any further action. But in this case, Talley's has gone straight to court and appears to have no issues with relitigating it in public.
Greg, what about the sources? This is secret sources that obviously TVNZ and the journalists wanted to keep out of the public eye because they didn't want to be identified. This is the case that's been made. What is the sort of, for people who aren't in the industry, how do you protect, what is the rule around that? And how do you know whether the person that's telling you a story is telling you the truth or whether they are on some vendetta?
Journalists know deep down that their weakest sources are anonymous sources. But nevertheless, there are many times and situations where anonymity is required for a source. Journalists are trained and also, through their education, but also through their work practices, to respect the rights of anonymous sources and to give them the protection that they need. It isn't just about the safety of that anonymous source. And of course, journalists will only grant anonymity to a source if there is genuine potential for retribution against that source if they're named publicly. So first of all, journalists have to be convinced and sure that there is genuine potential for retribution. Clearly here, TVNZ feels there is. It isn't something journalists really are thrilled about doing, using anonymous sources, to be honest. But if we don't grant anonymity to sources who are at risk, then we'll never get told those important stories when things are going wrong, not just in corporations like Talley's, but government, local government, in fact, almost any organization in the country now. It's a long respected right of journalists to keep those sources confidential. Nevertheless, it's worth pointing out that in certain situations in court, they can be compelled to reveal those sources. So there isn't a 100% guarantee for journalists.
Greg, appreciate that information this morning. Thanks for being with me.
You're welcome.
Greg Treadwell, a Senior Journalism Lecturer at AUT.